So there's something about So Far It's All Right from the 1975, or the main theme from The Notebook, or Same Drugs by Chance the Rapper. There's something about those songs that really just help me with my migraines. And I don't know why, but I'm glad that they exist. Hi, my name is Kate. I am an actress, a singer-songwriter, and currently a student, and I deal with moderate to severe migraines. So today, we're gonna go through every single way in detail that migraines affect my daily life. Every single person has their own way that they deal with migraines. But today, we're gonna go through how I deal with migraines section by section. My diagnosis, social life, diet, beauty, light exposure, and sleep. The first time I ever experienced a migraine, I would say it was around 4 years ago. I did not know what migraines were at this point. I didn't have the sort of language to articulate what was happening to me in the moment. And then I had this splitting just feeling in my head. It was just blinding. And this was the first time it ever happened to me. I didn't really know what to do. I thought I was just having a very just out of this world headache at the time. I just kind of curled up into a ball in my bedroom and waited for it to pass. But it was a very rough night. So, a migraine is a severe neurological condition that can cause sensitivity to light, sound, smell, and even movement. So for me, I experienced the aura first. There's not really a word to articulate it, but there's this sort of feeling, this inexplicable feeling that kind of overcomes my body. I call it heat, but heat's not the best word, but we'll just call it heat that kind of accumulates in my temples. And then from there, my migraine is just this sort of all-encompassing pain. There's this sort of throbbing at the crown of my head, this tightness in my temples, the slightest light, the slightest sound, I cannot be around that. It's all just too much. It's as if the world stops. The only thing that really exists is this pain. My migraines could sometimes last between 2 to 5 hours, depending on how bad it was. It was getting to a point where I was having migraines like almost every day. I was just looking online, like going through like certain websites or social media. I'm like, is anybody else kind of experiencing this? Because it happened one day and then it just didn't stop happening. So what's going on? So I decided, yeah, it's time. I need to go to a doctor because nothing is helping and this is kind of becoming a consistent thing. I went into the neurologist's office and she made it very clear that she wanted to work with me to find the best solution that would work for me. So right off the bat, she was like, the first step that we're gonna take together is really documenting what's already happening. I would write down immediately how many hours that I slept the night before, if I ate breakfast, yes or no, what I had for lunch and dinner, how much water I drank, caffeine or no caffeine, and whether or not I had a migraine that day and how bad it was for me. And I kind of kept a log of that for a while. In sort of this collaborative process, we noticed that the more I slept, the more I drank water, completely cutting out caffeine and certain things from my diet. All of these things, like we noticed there was a trend. Like when I did more of this, like I was less likely to have a migraine or my migraines were a little less intense consistently. Within the first 2 months, my life was just kind of changed, I would say. Before I was diagnosed and kind of got the treatment plan that I'm on now, migraines sort of severely limited what I was willing to do socially. There were a few instances where I would kind of just leave without an explanation if I was in public. Let's say if I was talking to someone, like the way I'm talking to you, you would just be having a conversation and I would literally just stop and leave. I had to spend a lot of money on ride shares at certain times because I was just really afraid of having a migraine on the subway. Just being in a crowded underground space, like there's light, there's so much noise, like, and not really being able to escape. Think about that. That sort of idea was very frightening to me. My biggest thing before was just get home, get home, get home, because I'm in danger. So when I feel the aura, of a migraine coming on when I'm in public, I need to excuse myself and get myself to sort of a quieter or just a separate location where I can kind of go through my plan and, do whatever I need to do to deal with it. So I have a really big hoodie that I still sometimes will bring with me now, but essentially it has a really big hood and I'll just put it over my eyes. And that will kind of give me the makeshift sort of thing of being in a darker kind of space. But I also realized over time that there's certain songs, and I can't explain it, but they have typically a note on the piano. And something about those songs will really calm me down and really kind of focus my thoughts into one place. So I always bring my phone, a portable charger, and headphones as well to sort of kind of bring up this playlist that I have. I call my playlist Headspace Case. The main theme of the notebook, the main film score thing, it calms me down. It sort of gets me in the right headspace. From the 1975, there's a song called So Far It's All Right. Same drugs. Chance the Rapper is also on there as well. It's very important that I added him too. So now when this happens and I've kind of done my little routine, I can kind of just come out and go about my day for the most part. I can pretty much go back into whatever I was doing before it, which has been really helpful and kind of life-changing for me. It might seem like a no-brainer, but you do need food to function for the most part. And when you're a student, your schedule can sometimes just be insane, staying up all night to study and not really taking care of yourself. I would notice that those days when I didn't eat, when I didn't really care about water, I was just kind of trying to check off whatever box I had. Those would kind of be the worst, for migraines. And I was a lot more likely to have one of those really bad migraine days if I was just not taking care of any of these things. So my diet actually, I would say it's a piece of the larger puzzle that directly impacts my migraines. Skipping meals is not a thing for me. I need to make sure that I eat at least 3 times a day and eat nutritious meals. That's point blank. The second thing I noticed was I am just a lot better when I have very protein-heavy meals. So now my diet really looks like eating protein in the morning. So I would usually have eggs. I would also have oatmeal. For lunch, I'll have I'll say a chicken salad, but I use the word salad very loosely here because it's really mostly just chicken and maybe kale and lettuce on the side. And then for dinner, maybe seafood on top of it, just making sure that I'm eating, that I'm not in a position where I'm hungry, which can make me more easily stressed. All of that has really helped me with my journey and dealing with my migraines. So water is very important. I typically, for the bare minimum, I'm gonna drink 2.5 liters, but I typically drink 1 gallon a day. So I'll kind of do, not the bulk of it, but a lot of it in the morning. And that kind of refreshment from being hydrated is just really helpful to me and my mood. So I am very sensitive to anything that kind of deals with tension on my head, and that in itself has really affected how I approach beauty. So for example, with hairstyles, a lot of Black women really love to incorporate protective styles. I do, as well. But I've noticed that I have to really be particular in the protective styles that I use. So right off the bat with my braids, the hair that I'm sort of rocking right now, I solely go for knotless braids. So I cannot do certain box braids or any sort of style that involves tension on my head because that can be very detrimental and kind of lead to migraines and that sort of uncomfortable feeling that comes with them. For knotless braids, it's sort of your regular hair and then the extension is fed into the braid. So there's not that tension of putting them together at the root. The extension is fed into my hair that's already braided, and it's really a painless process. It can sometimes be a little bit frustrating sometimes because a lot of really cool protective styles that I like seeing on other Black women, involve tightness. And it kind of can be a little bit like frustrating to not necessarily be able to do the same thing all the time. But I am very fortunate that I have found a style and a method that kind of works for me. For like detangling my hair, I use a wide tooth comb, and I'm very gentle with my hair from like ends to roots, taking my time on that aspect. I like to keep my scalp like healthy and breathable, so I use certain like oils for my hair as well to kind of help it with staying clean and just staying like breathable as well. But essentially my entire hair routine really revolves around keeping things free of tension and just keeping the space well. In general, I love sunlight. I love being outside. I love the summertime. I love that kind of aspect of it. But light can make a migraine so much worse for me and be very detrimental to that sort of experience. If I'm at home and I'm experiencing the aura, I've already kind of set up my place to make things super easy for me. I took out the bulb for like the main light in my room. My window already has that sort of protective dark sheet on top of my blind. So my room is already jam-packed with everything that I need right off the bat at all times. So another thing that I'm really conscious of are just sort of the light from my devices. So my phone, my laptop, right off the bat, I am always on dark mode. The brightness is on the very lowest setting. And then on my computer, there's a certain plugin that I have on my computer that kind of makes every website that I go on darker. So transition lenses are actually really helpful for me because they get darker if I'm directly like in the sun, and can just be really helpful for me when I'm in a really sunny environment. I noticed that, in my journey and my process when I was documenting what I was going through, that I was a lot more likely to have a migraine in itself, but then also to have a really bad migraine if I didn't really sleep well. So I kind of wanted to go forward and make sleep a really important part of my treatment plan and my process. So in general, 7 hours of sleep is my minimum. And that is come hell or high water, rain or shine, I am getting 7 hours of sleep the night before because it's very serious to me. So a weighted blanket, people have different weights that they like. I believe mine is about 20 pounds, 15, 20, I'm pretty sure. And it just kind of feels like, some people call it a warm hug, and a weighted blanket kind of just centers you. It's like you can't really toss and turn for the most part. You kind of just have to be still and have to come into yourself. I sleep with a sound machine, and it's technically for babies, but it works fine for me. It kind of creates this low hum that fills up the space. That sound in itself kind of just forces me to not go into my own like loop of, again, things that I might have to do the next day, and just really creates this space where I can just relax. I am not someone that plays about this. Like, I make sure that I'm taking my 30-day medication like diligently. Like, I make sure that I always have the as-needed medication like on me. And again, I'm really fortunate to kind of be able to do things, but it would be cool if maybe there was one day in the future where I didn't have to do anything. I do know that the cumulative experience of having migraines has made me someone that is very likely to stand up for myself, very likely to put my foot down for certain things. I know what to prioritize, what's really important for me, and I can advocate the heck out of myself. Like, I really can for myself, and that's a really important thing to have. So, there definitely was some negative parts of that journey, but I'm really happy to be here on the other side of it.